Hey there! In this video I'm going to show you how you can include a title page in a core or universal PDF document. We're going to use the employment application form that is been downloaded and imported from Gravity Form's form template library. This form includes contact info, phone number, position you're applying for, hours available, previous employment, and a bit more info about yourself, including a upload field for the resume. So great candidate to include a title page. So the first thing we'll do is we'll set up a PDF on this particular form. Go create a new one, call this a resume. And for the template, we use blank slate. It's a good option for this type of PDF. We'll just call it a resume. And I'm going to turn off the show form title option because we're going to add our own title page. And we'll do that with HTML fields. So we'll enable the show HTML fields PDF option. We won't worry about any of the other settings at this point, and we'll just hit add PDF. And if I go and view it now, we'll see the personal info, position applying for, all the fields that have been populated here. And so instead of this info showing on page 1, we'll include a title page, big text resume showing the name of the person who is applying, and we'll include the date. We could also include the position that's applying for, if that's something that you'd be interested in. So we'll go edit the form, and this particular technique relies on the HTML field, which is under the standard field section here. If you can't find it, you can use the search for a field feature, and it'll show you any matching fields with that name. So I put it right at the very start. We can't add it above this first start paging field. So right at the start, and I'll just give this a name, title page. Now, we don't want this HTML field showing to the user as they fill out the form. So to ensure that, we're going to go to the appearance section, and we're going to add a custom class GF_hidden. And that's going to hide this field from the end user, but it'll still be available to show in the PDF. This is going to be on page 1. We're just going to add the page break on this second field, your personal info. We'll use the page break field. We've actually got a whole video on using page breaks in Gravity PDF, so check that out if you want more info about adding page breaks. So now we'll go back to our title page field, and we're going to go general and in the content section. So we're going to add a H1. We'll call this resume. You can add the E with the accent on top of it if you want. I'm not going to bother on this occasion, but that's an option you have. H2, I'm going to want the person's name who's filling this out, and for that I'll need the field ID. So I'm going to click on your name, and in Gravity Forms 2.5, that is here, ID 1. If you use an earlier version of Gravity Forms, it'll be in the main form editor here, just above the label. So ID 1, and so I'm going to use some merge tags here. 1, 3 is the first name for the sub field, and 1, 6 for the last name. I'll add a label to these just so I can see what they are, space. If you're not sure what the exact merge tag format is, you can go into the notification section and use the merge tag selector. Just hit edit here. And so this is a merge tag selector on the fields. And here's one for the rich text section. So you can use this selector to pick the fields you want. There's first name and there's last name. So you can see it doesn't matter what you put in the label here. It's just so you know what that merge tag is. The important bit is the colon and then the 1 being the field ID and the .3 being the subfield ID. So I've just done this enough that I know off by heart what the first name and the last name subfield IDs are to be able to write that without using the selector. But for people who don't use this nearly as much as I do, that's a simple way to go about it. I'm going to want to put a date in. So I'm going to use the date, month, day, year tag. Actually, in Gravity Forms 2.5, there's a new date merge tag, which is significantly better than that one. So day, month, day, year will use the current day the PDF is generated. Now, because the PDF is generated on demand every time you view it, when the form is first submitted, it's going to be the submission date because it's generated on the same day. But if you come back a few months later and then view the PDF in the min area, it's going to be this day you've generated it then. So it'll be the date a few months later instead of the submission date. But in Gravity Forms 2.5, there's a new date created merge tag, which is the same format as Gravity Views date created merge tag, and that's because Zach Katz generously gave me permission to integrate that directly into Gravity Forms for this release. And there's a bunch of different options here, but I'm not going to go through that in this video. We'll just use that particular format there, which will be the form submission date always, no matter which day you generate that PDF. So now we've got that saved. We'll go and view one of the PDFs. Okay. So we got resume, then the name here, and then the date here. Hardly that good looking of a title page at this time, but it's all on one page and the text is showing. So it's just a matter of styling it the way we want. And then we've got that page break and we've got the info on the next page. You can see the name field is shown here as well. And we probably want to remove that instead of having duplicate data, seeing as it'll be on the title page. So we'll come back to removing that. Let's first style up this title page a bit more. So we'll go back to the form editor. Because it's a HTML field, we can use HTML tags here. Add a style attribute. And we'll add center alignment. Silly autocorrect. So add center alignment to all these elements. And for me, this isn't big enough. Resume. So let's amp up that font size. Let's do 80 points. And we'll make it uppercase. I could just write uppercase, but I much prefer, I can't remember if it's text transform upper or uppercase. We'll find out. I'll refresh this PDF. Oh, wrong one. Not going to be that one either. It will be this one. Okay, I'm going to refresh this one now. Okay, so uppercase, a nice big resume text here, followed by the name and the date. Now, what I want to do is try and get this much more centered on the page. So I'm going to add some padding to the top of that field. So I go back to our HTML and we'll just add some padding top. We'll do like 40%. And just refresh that. Okay, much better in the middle of the page now. Now I think the name of the candidate can be a lot bigger. So we'll go and add some styles to that as well. Font size, make this. Let's make it 40 point. And we'll just set the font on the date to 25 point. We'll see how that looks. That's much better. Resume, name, date. Now I think that the name and the date can be a little closer together, so we might adjust the margins on these particular headings. So I'm just going to go margin top 0 and padding top 0. I'm just going to reset these styles a little bit. And margin bottom 0 and padding bottom 0. And we'll just have a look at what that comes out like. Okay, I quite like that. Resume, big letters. We might decrease the name size just a smidge. And maybe decrease the size of the date. Got 40 here and 25. Let's make this 32 and 20. Okay, that's looking good. I think this will look even better if we push the name a bit further down. Bottom of the page. Again, you can style this however you want. I'm just showing you, giving you the tools that you need to customize this, and you can play around with the styles to really get it how you want. So we'll add padding top. We'll call this 20%. Well, that's nice, yeah. This is out at the title page we've got. We might add a logo to the top. Just so it's easy to distinguish the company that they're applying for. Let me open that in a new tab. So we'll add the Gravity PDF logo to the front here. I'm just going to copy the file URL, copy the clipboard, head back to our form now, and we'll just add a new image attribute to the top here. Sorry, an image tag with the src attribute rather. We'll paste in that URL here and just save that form. I'll view the PDF again. So we've got quite a large image here, which has pushed the rest of our content onto a new page. So we're going to shrink that down. I'll do that with a height to this image. Let's try 400 pixels. See how that looks. Okay, that didn't reduce the size at all. Let's try 100 pixels. Okay, much better. Significantly reduced. We probably want a little bit bigger. We're not going to worry about alignment just yet. Get the image in there. Okay. So I got the image, the logo in. It's a good size. Pretty happy with it, but I want to put it above this resume text. So we're going to have to do a few things. We'll have to remove the padding from resume, and we'll have to apply it to image, this image, and we'll have to center align it. So we may need to remove the margin from the heading 1 tag here. First, we'll wrap this in a div, because an image's class is an inline element in the PDF engine, so we can't do a lot of styling to it in terms of the margins. So we'll do a text align center, and we'll just make sure that aligns right. Excellent. And now we'll swap over all that padding we added to padding top here, 40%. We'll move that and apply it to the image section. And we'll see how that one looks now. Okay, that looks good, but this is all pushed down. Obviously, there's top margin on this resume text. So we'll go ahead and remove that now. Margin top 0 and padding top 0. I might need a little bit more coaxing. That looks pretty good. With the logo there now, we might actually move it a little bit further up the page, and add a bit more, padding to the resume text. Yeah, so we'll go back to the form, and we'll just tweak it. We'll just reduce the padding top here, and we'll add a little bit over here, 3%. So you can mix and match the types. You know, we did use pixel for the height of the image, but we're using percentages for the padding. In Gravity PDF supports all the common types. You got percentages, pixels, points, EMs, and REMs, and inches if you want to measure in inches as well, or millimeters. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. I could probably even have the logo up a bit higher here, and have this centered. But I think you get the idea in terms of creating a title page and including an image. So it's just a matter of playing around with those styles to get the exact format you want. And then if we used any of the fields from the form on this title page, and we don't want those fields displayed down in the main content area because it'd be a duplicate, we can exclude those. And to do that, we will use the exclude CSS class. If you want more information about using this functionality, you can see the video I've put together. I shot with how to hide form fields in the core and universal PDFs, which covers this exclude field plus how to use a core booster add-on features. So the name's gone off the personal information section, and it's only displayed on this title page. So that's how you can add a full-blown title page to any core or universal PDF template using Gravity PDF.